Here is how to set up your diet if you want to lose 1 to 3 pounds sustainably in the perimenopause. If you've been trying to lose weight and your body feels really unresponsive, this will be really helpful for you because it will lay out exactly what you need to do when it comes to food to be able to see results and to make sure that you can sustain these results and get past the 2 weeks falling off the wagon cycle. So to be able to show you what to do, I need a document. So I'm just going to screen share so I can talk you through step by step how to set up your diet and what to consider to be able to see results. So firstly, what we need to do is work out how many calories your body needs to be able to sustain your current set point. So we can then work out what we need to do with these calories to start seeing weight loss results. Now, rather than you sitting there with a calculator and working it all out, I have actually created a specific calculator. You can go on, put all your personal details in here, and it will tell you exactly your calories, bespoke, personalized to you. So what I want you to do is go onto this, and I want you to create 2 different lots of calories, okay? So I want you to create the calories for how many calories does your body burn on days that you do exercise, and the calorie calculator will ask you how much exercise you're doing right now, okay? So you'll need that total number, and then you're also going to need your total number for how many calories you burn on more of a sedentary day. Now, if you're not exercising, obviously you're only going to need one number. So you just collectively think of a 7-day period, and we want to work out how many calories you're burning roughly each day over a 7-day period. But obviously if you are putting exercise in, you're going to have bigger calorie exertion days. So we need exercise days and non-exercise days, total calories. So go on to the calorie calculator. That's the first step, and that will tell you exactly how many calories your body burns at maintenance now to sustain your current weight. Now, what we want to do to be able to actually see weight loss results is we need to initiate a deficit. But what I want to show you is how it actually varies, okay? So from a woman in her reproductive years to a woman in the perimenopause, we vary what we need to be able to do when it comes to initiating that deficit. And this is where women get very stuck when they're in this cyclical stage, because they try what they did 10 years ago and it does not work. So maybe 10 years ago, your body was more resilient, you could simply eat less and your body would lose weight. And maybe you've tried that and it hasn't worked. Well, there is a reason for that, okay? We have to approach your weight loss in a different way. And I want to show you the difference between how we would approach weight loss with somebody in their reproductive years to a woman in the perimenopause going through the menopause. So we need to be able to initiate a deficit. So what I mean by that is we need to consume less than we're exerting out when it comes to energy balance, okay? Now, to lose 1 pound of fat, legitimate fat, we have to initiate a 3,500 calorie deficit within a 7-day period, okay? Now, what we like to do with women in their reproductive years is we like to create the deficit through 2 variables. Obviously, reducing calories, so reducing what's going in, and increasing energy exertion through exercise, so 2 variables, okay? So if you need to burn 3,500 calories within a 7-day period to be able to initiate 1 pound of weight loss, then we want to reduce calories by 1,750 over a 7-day period, which is about 250 calories a day. So we would go, right, if Shelley maintenance calories is 2,000 calories a day, we would program her at about 1,750 calories a day. And then what we would also do is then go, right, we now need to create the other half of that deficit, the 1,750 calories of exercise within a 7-day period. So we're going to split that over 4 sessions, 4 exercise sessions, and we need Shelley to burn 450 calories per session. Okay, now that is how we would set up somebody in their reproductive years. We do probably a 50-50 split of initiating the deficit from food a little bit and bringing up the exercise. But look at where it changes for a woman in perimenopause through the menopause. Now, what we actually do is we initiate a bigger deficit. We use more of that deficit. So the 3,500 calories, instead of doing a 50-50 split between food and exercise, we would do more of a 60 to 70% deficit with the food and do the remainder with the exercise. So what that looks like is less calories being burnt from exercise, but slightly more of a deficit on the food side. Now, why do we do this? And just to put that in form here so you can see the comparison. Women in her reproductive years, we'd maybe reduce her calories of what she's eating by 250 calories a day, and she'd be doing 4 lots of 450 calorie sessions a week. Now, a woman in perimenopause, we might reduce her calories by 400 calories a day, okay? And we might get her doing 3 lots of 250 calorie exercise sessions a week. Now, why? You're probably thinking, Emily, why would you do this? Because women going through perimenopause and through the menopause, the main focus through this time is to balance your cortisol levels, your stress hormone, okay? Because when you're going through this stage, you can be prone to having higher levels of cortisol in the body. And what we want to focus on is utilizing effective exercise to help with balancing your cortisol, keeping you nice and insulin sensitive. And what exercise is great for that is resistance-based exercise, so weight-based exercise, which if you were to go into the gym and do an hour of weight-based exercise and look at your watch, you'd be burning less calories than doing an hour of more high-intensity or cardio-based exercise. Now, when we are in our reproductive years, we have more resilience, perhaps less sensitivity to things like cortisol. So therefore, we tend to be able to train at a higher stimulant. Whereas when we're in perimenopause, what we want to do is think about always balancing all these key hormones in your body, and overexertion of exercise can cause a bit more stress on the body. Also, time is precious. So with those windows of time that you do have that you're putting towards exercise, I want it to go towards the things that are actually going to help you balance your hormones and see results. Resistance-based exercise is fantastic for that. But naturally, within those sessions, you'll be burning less. But there is benefit outside of those sessions because you will be burning more calories as a byproduct of resistance-based training. But what we want to do is initiate more of the deficit through food. So here is a great example where if you want to lose a pound a week, I want you to take your calories and work out what you are going to initiate deficit wise. So if your maintenance calories are 2,000 calories on a non-exercise day, then you might want to initiate 400 calorie deficit to food and make sure you're ticking that box of doing 3 lots of 250 calorie burning sessions of exercise. And that will equate to losing 1 pound a week. So it's a bit of a case of getting your calculator out and working out what calories your body needs for exercise days and non-exercise days, and working with taking more of a proportion from the food rather than signing yourself up for hours and hours of exercise and cardio. Okay, let's do this really smart. And if you do this split correctly, you will be feeling really good in your body. And also 3 lots of 250 calorie sessions, like that's very achievable from a time perspective. You should be able to achieve 3 lots of 250 calorie exertion sessions within a 7-day period without it causing a lot of strain onto your work, your work commitments and your social life. So very realistic. Now, next up is thinking about how do you actually, like with the calories that you're supposed to be eating, like what are you supposed to fill those calories with? Really important. And let's just look at the basics of this today so you can create a bit of a structure. So what we want to do is be focusing on having 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per lean muscle mass, okay? So what we want to do is take your total weight and we want to look at how much of your beautiful body is lean muscle mass, okay? And that's a combination of your muscle, your water, anything bar your body fat, okay? So again, if you're unsure what that is, you can absolutely reach out and ask me to help you calculate that. But as an example, I weigh 140 pounds, and I would say that I'm roughly probably 120 pounds lean muscle mass, okay? So therefore, for me, I depending on whether I'm 0.8 or 1.2 grams. But, you know, I can go, right, 120 grams of lean muscle mass, and then I can work out from there. So you just want to be able to deduct how much weight on your body is fat and how much is lean muscle mass, okay? And that's when we focus on, because it's just your lean muscle mass that requires protein. So how to work out how much protein you actually need, it does vary. Again, it's not straightforward in one answer. So if you're over 200 pounds and you're not a frequent exerciser, I would go for 0.8 grams per pound of lean muscle mass. Again, I wouldn't be going anywhere sort of over 160 to 170 grams of protein. So if you're reading over, just bring it down. Like we don't need that amount of protein. Now, if you're between 150 and 200 pounds, and I recommend 1 gram of protein per pound of lean muscle mass. And if you are 150 pounds or less and a frequent exercise, you know, doing a lot of exercise, you may want to go up to 1.2 grams per pound of lean muscle mass. Okay, so again, it just depends what category you're falling into. If you're a frequent exerciser, naturally your body can obtain more protein because it will utilize this protein effectively. You're potentially got more muscle on your frame. If I was doing this with you on a one-to-one, I would look at your muscle to fat ratios. I would look at your training load, and I would work out specifically how much protein I think you would need in an optimum for your body. But this is a really great broad perspective where you can work this out yourself. Okay, and then the next point of call is fats. Okay, 50 grams of fats a day. And with women in the perimenopause, what we would normally do is we focus on, right, this is the protein we want you to have. Okay, and these are the fats. And we tend to focus on higher fats initially. They're great for satiety. They are essential for your hormone function. Okay, fats are so important to support your hormones. So what we want to do is give you a sufficient amount of fats, and then the rest of the calories we want to distribute across carbohydrates and focus on low glycemic carbohydrates as much as we possibly can. But carbohydrates need to remain in your diet. They are incredibly effective. They are brilliant, especially for your sleep, okay, for your mood, for energy availability. Your body finds it really easy to metabolize carbs and utilize carbs as energy. So carbs are absolutely brilliant, and they definitely serve a place in your diet. It's just thinking about where they need to go. And if you are wanting to be more strategic with this, what you can do is put more carbs in on the days that you are exercising around your exercise sessions. And if you want to be able to create, you know, more of a deficit, then you would reduce carbs on your non-training days. So here is a few bits to think about. I also love to say that focusing on like brown and low glycemic index carbohydrates, like focus on those 75% of the time. 25% of the time, have the donut, have the biscuit, because again, you know what I'm like, all about inclusive eating, okay? So think about this in the sense of, this is about, if you could just do one area of this, so focus on your protein, focus on your fat, it's all going to be really supportive and helpful for setting up your diet for perimenopause. Now, what I would say here is, because a lot of questions have come up recently about whether like I should be doing intermittent fasting and things like that. I would say that we need to nail in a routine, a basic routine like this before we can start moving to more advanced strategies like intermittent fasting, because intermittent fasting is something that can be super effective, but again, you've got to really think about like how you're actually fueling the body in windows of eating. The benefit of fasting is really about doing different length fasts and constantly shocking the body, but then you have to really think about, what am I going to put in my body when I break that fast? You know, there's a lot of things to consider with fasting, and it's a much more complex way of dieting, and a lot of the time we don't need to really be doing it. We don't need to be taking it to that extreme. We need to be focusing on these fundamental basics of what you're fueling your body within a 24-hour window, and we need to be ticking these boxes. And we also need to have an oversight of our energy balance, our expenditure, what's going in and what's coming out. So this will give you a great example of where to start, how to sort of work out your calories. If you put a comment below, I will send you the access to the calorie calculator. Also, if you want a copy of this, you can just keep it and then work it out in your own time. Just comment below and I'll send you a version of this, so you can just have it yourself and you can refer back to it whenever you want it. Super, super effective. Start here. You will put your body in a great position to be able to initiate weight loss within a 7-day period. And by doing it this way and actually giving your body sufficient calories, because I guarantee you'll work this out and you'll be like, oh my goodness, that's actually more food than I thought I could eat. You're probably going to realize that maybe you've been actually under eating, which is, again, can be stressful for the body, and it can also set us up to then overeat, binge eat, overconsume. So the great thing about this is you work it out, and if you follow it and you give your body what it needs, you won't feel the need to fall off the wagon in 2 weeks' time. Like, you'll be able to create some consistency, and it won't just be your weight loss that comes through here. You'll see a huge positive effect on all variables like energy, mood, libido, sleep quality, a real reduction in food focus. So it's a real win-win situation. So yeah, let me know. Pop in comments below and I can send you access to this doc and give you access to the calorie calculator too, so you can work this all out, and it's super simple. We all know to be able to create amazing change with this, it's all about implementation. So take this today, implement what I've shared, and you will see results.